Magandang umaga, Filipinos. Good morning. You're watching Eagle News Mornings from Canada. I'm Thomas I. Likeness, reporting from our Eagle News studio. I'm in the Western Canadian province of Alberta. My city is Edmonton, and we're here this morning to bring you news and commentary from across Canada. Thursday morning, one more day to go after today, and we're into the weekend. So let's check out the weather first of all in Metro Manila. AccuWeather telling us to expect sunshine this morning. Now, the clouds will build up throughout the day. We have a 60% chance of rain or thunderstorms later today and continuing into this evening. Expect a high of about 34 degrees with a real feel of 40. Currently, the sky overcast is 28 degrees and it feels like it's 33. The air quality, if you're going outside, the air quality today is excellent. Help yourself to that second cup of coffee. You know where it is. Yep, right over there. Sit back, relax, and I'll tell you what's happening in Canada. First, we'll take a look at the weather from across the country. Our street scene today comes from Etobicoke, Ontario, and it looks a little bit wet there. Starting on the west coast, we've got Victoria with mostly cloudy skies and 18 degrees. Vancouver overcast and 18. We go west over the mountains to Alberta. In Edmonton, it was cloudy. It's kind of clearing off rain this morning, but we've got some sunshine now. 20 degrees. Calgary, sunny and 21. In Saskatchewan, Regina is sunny and 25. Saskatoon, a few clouds and 27, quite warm there. Winnipeg, partly cloudy and 23. Eastward to Toronto, we're Canada's largest city, reporting clouds and 24 degrees. Ottawa, clouds and 25. Montreal, mostly cloudy and 26. Now that heat wave in the Atlantic province continues. Fredericton, few clouds and 27. Halifax, mostly cloudy and 27. And St. John's, Newfoundland, mostly cloudy and 24 degrees. And that's a look at the weather across Canada. Here are some of the stories we're following today. It cost a bit more to live in Canada last month. The Canada Child benefit is going up, but not by much. The Ontario government concerned about a growing number of COVID-19 cases, especially among young people. And we've got some sports items for you in the latter part of the program. Well, the cost of living in Canada rose slightly in June. Statistics Canada telling us the consumer price index rose 0.7% in June, from June of 2019, so that's year over year. Now, pushing up inflation were things like higher gasoline prices. Gasoline went up 11%. Grocery prices, a bit of an increase there, 2.7%. Don't notice the deals that I used to say 6 months ago in the grocery stores, although if you shop carefully and shop around a little bit, read the flyers, you can find some deals, but grocery prices up 2.7%. Otherwise, not much change. Clothing prices pretty much the same. Now, these increases and the increase in inflation won't be enough to prompt the Bank of Canada to even think about increasing interest rates. We've been told by the bank's governor as late as last week that the low rates will be with us for some time. Parents will see a bit of an increase in the Canada Child benefit this month. The federal government increased the benefit for children under 6 to just over $560 a month. That's about a $12 a month increase. For kids aged 6 through 17, it goes up to $467 and change. That's about a $9 monthly increase. So parents don't spend all that extra money in one place. In British Columbia, Premier John Horgan wants to see illicit drug possession for personal use decriminalized. Horgan says criminal penalties have not been effective in deterring drug use. In fact, he says, by making it a crime, it might prevent some people from seeking help because they're afraid to deal with authorities. Horgan says he's concerned about the number of overdose deaths in the province. You know, in the month of June, last month, 175 people died of illicit drug overdoses. That works out to almost 3 every day. And he adds, since 2016, 5,000 people in his province alone have OD'd. Quite an epidemic. In a letter to Prime Minister Trudeau, Horgan writes that decriminalizing possession for personal use would see the federal government taking an enormous step to reduce the systemic stigma associated with illicit drug use. And he says by doing so, that would support people who want to access the services they need to stay safe and to start their path to recovery. Well, Alberta, the latest province to announce plans to resume school this fall. It joins Quebec, Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, and under the reopening plans, schools will be encouraged to physically distance students. They'll do such things as staggering start times for classes, also for recesses and lunch. There'll be enhanced cleaning of surfaces, more frequent hand washing. Everywhere you look, there's going to be a hand sanitizer dispenser, school entrances and in the classrooms. The government always leaving it up to the students and staff whether they want to wear masks. Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Dina Hinshaw, says this isn't risk-free. Nothing is risk-free. She adds we have to learn to live with COVID-19. In Calgary, masks will become mandatory in all indoor public spaces beginning August 1st. And this will include places like malls, grocery stores, all forms of public transit, including cabs and Uber. The ordinance, though, will not apply to schools, daycares, or apartment buildings like in the lobby, Fines for violations, $100 to $200. Kids under 2, exempt. Those with medical conditions, exempt. Also, if you're engaging in exercise, fitness activities, that sort of thing, you're also exempt. Public health experts in Canada sounding the alarm as the number of new cases of the virus continues to increase. Epidemiologists warn if the number keeps going up, we could be back where we were a few months ago. Nationwide, we've been averaging maybe 300 cases a day, but that's been on the increase. That's what we had been doing, 300 a day. It's now at about 450 a day. Again, it seems people are becoming complacent and we just can't afford to lose the progress that we've made. In Ontario, as in other provinces, those case numbers are concerning. Eagle News correspondent Sabrina Solano Dallas Reyes brings us that story.
Ontario reported 203 cases of COVID-19 yesterday. This is the first time since June that the province has reached over 200 COVID-19 cases. This report comes in as the province moves forward to stage 3 of its reopening this coming Friday, July 24th. According to Minister of Health Christine Elliott, today's uptick is the result of localized increases. There are 43 new cases in Ottawa, 57 in Peel, and 24 more in Windsor, Essex. Looking at the age of today's new cases, 116 of them, or 57%, are 39 years old or younger. Public health officials continue to remind Ontarians of all ages to follow social distancing rules, maintain only one social circle of 10 people, and wear face masks when entering indoor public spaces. Premier Ford firmly warns young people who feel invincible to COVID-19. Take a look.
But just a message to our young people, you have such a future ahead of yourselves, and you may feel you're invincible and you'll get through it. It's not just about yourself getting through it. Yes, you're healthy, you're young. It's about your parents and your other family members and your grandparents. That's what you have to think about when you go out and say you go to a party or something. That's who you got to think about. Everyone loves their parents and cares for their parents and their grandparents. Do the right thing. Don't go to these parties if they're there. It's not worth it.
Minister Elliott also advises that everyone should do their part to prevent a second wave of COVID-19. Take a look.
Well, we do know there's a certain amount of COVID fatigue among our young people right now, and I know that that's been after months of not seeing your friends and being able to do things with them and socializing, but please, as the Premier has indicated, please remember that as we're opening up the economy, it is more important than ever before to please follow the public health rules.
Premier Ford has released details on which regions will have more businesses reopening in the following.
Today, we have more good news for Ontario families, businesses, and communities. The following regions will be able to enter Stage 3 on Friday, July 24th at 12:01 a.m. Durham, Haldimand Norfolk, Halton, Hamilton, Lambton, Niagara, and York region. As of Friday, thousands of more businesses will be able to open up. And we'll be there for them when they do, because we're all in this together.
Now that Ontario will reach stage 3 of its reopening, everyone must comply even more to public health advice in the hopes to avoid a second wave. With even more restrictions being lifted and more businesses opening, there's nothing wrong with remaining vigilant and mindful of what and how they are keeping themselves and everyone safe. In Toronto, Sabrina Solano de los Reyes, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
In Quebec, a number of people calling for the end of the government aid program for those who lost their jobs due to the pandemic. That's the one where people were paid $2,000 a month, basically to stay at home. Eagle News correspondent Andre Lajoie explains.
Quebecers overwhelmingly want to end the service of Canadian emergency benefits. Whatever happens of the service providers, according to a survey that has been done last Tuesday. Nearly 57% of respondents of the province wants the program to stop. Then that opinion is not to share with 48% of Canadians. A survey has been done in the resident area and the most enthusiastic to revive the economy and deliver children to school and shop. There's a lot of enthusiasm to reopen the economy and bring back people to work with their salary full-time and have a country with less debt. But the circumstance requires a good transition. It should be a discussion on what is done and what the service providers. The regional disparities are important for the future. Almost 80% of Ontarians want the extension beyond 24 weeks, followed by the prairies at 61% and the Maritimes at 55%. Alberta and British Columbia are more divided since they are in favor of the stop at 52 and 51% respectively. The payment of $2,000 monthly should last 16 weeks at the base, but it's been extended already for 8 weeks by the federal government. Thus, the people have asked for help from the first week will find themselves without a net on the first week of September. The federal government has spent $53.5 billion until June since the pandemic, and was paid 8.2 million Canadians in part of working population. 1,420 Canadians members has conducted a survey in between July 10 and July 13. The margin of error is 3.5, 19 times out of 20. From Ottawa, Canada, I'm Andre Lajoie. We live an interesting time.
And just to clarify that benefit a bit, the $2,000 a month for some people, and this is why I think there's a push to end it. Some people were actually making more on that benefit than going back to their minimum wage jobs, because in most provinces the minimum wage is well below that $2,000 mark. Well, if you're just joining us, it's 14 minutes past 7 o'clock in Manila. You're watching Eagle News Mornings from Canada.
Tatawagin ko na ang 5 contestants na papasok sa finals.
Nasa inyong mga kamay ang kanilang kapalaran at 100% ng desisyon ay manggagaling sa inyong boto. Kaya vote na sa pinakamagaling na contestant. Kung ikaw ay Team Angel Nicole Francisco, text TNG space Angel. Sa palagay mo, Cosmic Angels ang pinakamagaling? Text TNG Space Cosmic.
Sa mga tinuro ay kailanan, di ako sumusok sa anumang laban. Kami na naging manahigit kanino man, naniniwala sa pagbabalakan. Mga pamahin hanggang patong bayan, sa pangungulila ay musika naman. Pinakamalakas na panlaban, pag-ibig para sa mga kabataan. Di kinaiya sa tamang paraan, para asiko ng bawat kabataan. Bawat kabataan, Pilipinas ating bayan.
Kung Power Duo ang nagpahanga sa'yo, text TNG Space Power. Support na kung napahanga ka ni Jonah Chris Pandillo. Text TNG Space Jonah Chris. One at the best ba para sa'yo si Edrain Oclarino? Text TNG Space Edrain. Boto na at isend sa 0922-110-1400. Isang boto kada isang mobile number. Make sure na tama ang keyword para valid ang boto mo. Pwede rin kayong bumoto via online. Pumunta lang sa Tagisan ng Galing channel sa YouTube. Hanapin ang performance ng paborito niyong contestant. Panuurin, i-like at i-share. 25% ang text votes, 25% ang views, 25% ang like at 25% ang share. Kaya naman lahat ng boto, views, like at shares nyo ay mahalaga. So vote now! At sabay-sabay nating abangan kung sino ang tatanghaling ultimate grand winner sa Tagisan ng Galing.
This is Eagle News Mornings from Canada. I'm Thomas I. Likeness. 21 minutes past 7 o'clock, 28 degrees in Metro Manila. We turn now to something different. Polar bears. Their future doesn't look good. They could go the way of the dinosaurs. Researchers are saying climate change is starving polar bears into extinction. They warn the bears could all but disappear within the span of a human lifetime. Scientists say in some regions they're already caught in a vicious downward spiral. Shrinking sea ice is reducing the amount of time the bears have for hunting seals, their main food source, and their dwindling body weight undermines their chances of surviving Arctic winters without food. Peter Molnar, he's with the Department of Biological Sciences at the University of Toronto, says no matter what we do, the bear population will decline.
We can save some bears, and if we do a very good job, we can save more bears. But given that some impacts are already occurring, I think it would be naive to assume that we can retain polar bear populations at the exact same levels as in the past.
Unless people change their attitudes about climate change, Molnar is not optimistic.
Our track record hasn't been good, and if we are complacent about it, and if we just think, oh, now somebody has said polar bears are in real danger, I don't think that in and of itself will change a lot of opinions. I think, this is not a problem that can be solved in a day. This needs to be ongoing mitigation efforts by all of society. And
Molnar says the worst-case scenario would see the bears wiped out by the end of this century. Well, let's hear from EBC sports guru Anthony Sevilla now. He had an exclusive interview with PBA import NLEX Road Warriors Ulu Oshalu.
Hello everyone, I'm Anthony Sevilla for Eagle News, and joining me from his home in Toronto is former PBA import for the NLEX Road Warriors and the most recent signee for the Fraser Valley Bandits, Olu Oshalu. How's it going, Olu?
Good, man. Can't complain. Can't complain at all, man.
When's the last time you were able to pick up a basketball?
It was 3 months, like 3 months of just cardio, resistance band workouts. Just at a point, I didn't feel like a basketball player anymore. So, I wasn't shooting, I wasn't touching the basketball, I wasn't dribbling. I was just trying to keep in shape, in some kind of shape. So, yeah, it was like a 3-month gap between actually doing something basketball focused.
How was your experience playing for the NLEX Road Warriors?
I enjoyed it, man. I really enjoyed the love, the Filipino love for basketball is something I've never seen anywhere before. So it was definitely something I definitely appreciated and got used to and got accustomed to.
Is there anything when you got to the Philippines that surprised you?
Traffic. I heard, there's going to be a lot of traffic, man, a lot of cars. I'm like, oh, yeah, cool, whatever. The people, yeah, man, I don't know. They got a lot of patience. There's no road rage because you're not going anywhere.
So there's a lot of talk about Coach Yang, and he was your coach at NLEX. Can you talk about the experience that you had with him being under his wing?
Man of very few words in practice. Come game time, it's a whole different individual. Complete different individual. He's loud, he's aggressive, he's in your face. No, I got a lot of respect for him as a competitor, man. He can coach. He's been successful for years, so there's a reason why he's still doing what he's doing.
So we know that you spent some time in the Philippines, but obviously you weren't there training the whole time. Can you talk about your experiences outside of basketball in the Philippines?
I'm the guy who likes to kind of get out and mingle with the people. So, if I could, I'd rather go do my grocery shopping at the local markets as opposed to just going to the grocery store. So I found a few markets where I get my vegetables, my fruits and whatnot.
Were you able to try the Filipino cuisine when you were there?
I definitely was.
All right, balut.
Absolutely not. My coach, so one of my assistant coaches, he's one of the top 50 best PBA players, Coach Jolas. He almost, he's literally had it, was peeling the egg, and he's like, oh, you gotta try it. And my whole team, Austin and whatnot, were trying to peer pressure me into doing it. I did not cave, I did not break. doesn't look appetizing to me whatsoever. So no below for me.
Coconut buko juice.
Best, the best, absolute best. 2 thumbs up.
Is there anything that you would like to say to Filipino fans watching this?
Man, I really hope you guys get to enjoy the PBA once again. I miss you guys. Miss the Philippines. Looking forward to coming back one day. Guys got like a real love for basketball, man. One thing I really appreciate is the people there. They really have an affinity for basketball, and as a player, I love it.
That was Olu Ashalu, former NLEX Road Warrior in the Philippine Basketball Association. You can see Olu and the Fraser Valley Bandits compete in this year's CEBL Summer Series in St. Catharines, Ontario, when they take on the Edmonton Stingers. In Vancouver, Anthony Sevilla, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
I got to agree with Olu, 2 thumbs up for the buko juice, but balut, I give that one a pass myself. Well, we're going to wrap up our program today by going to New York with EBC sports reporter Tenny Sumagi. She tells us Russell Westbrook is rejoining the Houston Rockets after testing positive for COVID-19. Here's Tenny.
Brody is back. Former NBA MVP Russell Westbrook rejoins his team, the Houston Rockets, and speaks briefly on his health, fitness, and the importance of wearing a mask.
Well, first of all, just kind of thankful and blessed to be healthier, to be able to go out and compete again. But just quarantining, man, been at home, trying to be productive. Obviously not able to get on the basketball floor, but finding ways to kind of stay active, do as much conditioning I can probably do. But as far as that, we'll see once I get out there. But that's the last thing that I worry about, honestly, because before I had the quarantine, I was in pretty good shape, so I should be all right. I'm not a doctor nor a specialist, but I do know that it's definitely something to take very seriously, to understand wearing a mask can be between life or death, honestly. I think, obviously, I'm a name that people know and see. It pops up on the screen and show they care, but my thing is that people dying from this virus, each and every day, and it's something that we all need to take very, very seriously because some of our loved ones, we could lose our loved ones, or some people that's close to us, our family. So it's something that I keep saying to my family, my friends, my close group of people to take it very seriously. So.
Tune into Eagle News for your daily dose of highlights on the restart of the NBA season. In New York, Tenny Sumagi, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Good advice. Wear a mask. I'm sure we all know of somebody or have had a friend that has fallen victim to COVID. We lost a coworker in my other job due to COVID just last week. That's our program for today. On behalf of the Canadian News team, I wish you all good health. Take care of others and take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for accurate and balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and other current affairs. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Stay tuned for Anons Say No.
Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.
Anons Say No, 안녕, bonjour, konnichiwa, kamusta? Hi everyone! And again, today we are talking about things that make us happy. And what makes me happy is drawing. So what makes you happy? Comment down below and we'd love to read your comments. So I love drawing. Actually, I've been drawing since I was around 7 or 8 years old or even younger. And the reason why I started drawing was because my cousins or my ates are so amazing at drawing. And I remember always watching them draw. And I would always request them also to draw things for me. And I also asked them how to draw too. So there you have it. They were the ones who taught me how to draw. And I am just so thankful that they taught me, because until today, drawing is something that makes me very happy. Drawing and art makes me so happy. So I personally love to draw faces or portraits. I can draw hands, arms, legs, or feet, but I don't enjoy drawing them as much as I do the face. And so, to be honest, as an artist, that's what I have to work on. And one thing I love to do is to draw, especially in my specific art style. So I worked real hard to try my best to develop my own art style. So that's what I'm going to show you today. But before that, here are some tips. Okay, so our first tip is always practice. If you want to become great at drawing or making art, practice is the key. As with anything din naman, but even if you become a really great artist, you have to remember to always practice. Which brings us to number 2. Number 2 is there's always room for improvement. So no matter how great you are as an artist, you should always keep in mind that there is always room for improvement, meaning you can learn from other people, or you can come up with new techniques of your own, or personalize your art style even more, which I am trying my best to work on. And then number 3 is be observant. In drawing, you have to be observant. This is because you draw what you observe or what you already know. So the more you observe, or the more that you study about the things around you, the more details that you can draw. So this will be very handy whether you draw using a reference photo or by memory. So for more drawing tips, please do follow us on our social media. We have tips on drawing and much more. Just search for Net25 Kids. So later on, while I draw, I will also share more tips with you. So draw along with me after the break.
Tatawagin ko na ang 5 contestants na papasok sa finals.
Nasa inyong mga kamay ang kanilang kapalaran.